Next question. Advice for young entrepreneurs that just secured their first big payout. Common mistakes, how to avoid impulse purchases.
Well, let's speak from experience, right? What was your first big deal?
Yeah, my first big deal was for $30,000. So my first deal was, that's a pretty big deal, you know? So
30,000. Yeah, I had a 40K deal off Craigslist.
yeah, with like 3 houses, right? It was like a package? Or?
Oh, that was my first deal.
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But yeah, it was like my 4th or 5th deal.
Where you made a lot.
Yeah, it was like a big chunk where I could prepay marketing and still have money. And I did what not to do. You know, I went and bought a, I don't remember, 2012 like Dodge Charger or something with a nice exhaust. Retarded, right? But yeah, that's what I first did. Luckily, I had prepaid marketing, so I would say this, right? If you close a big deal, just wait a few days because that rush will have you really considering like impulsive purchases. Like we just did a big deal last week for my aviation company. I'm like, okay, I have all this access to capital now. Like, should I go buy this or this? And I'm like, you know what? No, let's wait.
Yeah.
Let's wait. Like
get off the high.
Yeah.
Of
So
money. Yeah.
You know, I would go have a nice dinner, take your mom out, your girlfriend, wife, you know, kids. But just wait a few days for that high to come off and then create a game plan around that. Priorities are first. Like if you're in the real estate business, make sure you're prepaying, you know, whether it's office rent or subscriptions or marketing or mentorship. And if you're in any other business, it's really the same thing, right? Priorities first and just be patient because you will be able to have fun and spoil yourself later on.
Yeah, I like that, talking about prepaying, because if you're worried you're going to go blow all your money, just go prepay all the stuff that's actually going to help your business, so that way you don't have access to the money anymore.
Yeah.
I like that.
Yeah, early on, we like every December, we'd prepay like 50, 100K to Google ads for the
And that
next
also
year.
helps your tax return for that year,
yeah.
So for me, I fortunately took all my money from my first deal and invested it in mentorship with you. So I made a very smart decision and reinvested the money. I guess for me, I never kind of blew my money growing up. I always saved it. So it was kind of like, and I always saved it for a bigger purpose. I wanted to have the money to be able to, you know, do something one day. And so.
What fueled that though? Because I think a lot of people, like I didn't have that programming. It was like, if I make it, spend it.
My parents were always very conservative with how they spent their money growing up, you know, so I just witnessed it. They never wasted money, like ever. And, you know, that kind of can give you a scarcity mindset with money and make it hard for you to invest if you grow up watching that. But that's a downside. But then there's also the benefit that I learned, you know, be very careful with your money. It's not easy to get, but it's easy to blow it. Absolutely. And I learned that. And so that's why I think I was programmed like that. You know, I think it did have to do with that. But then I think also a lot of people are born that way too, where they're just like, they always just save their money for a bigger purpose. And it was just kind of built into me. So I invested it in something really good. I invested in mentorship to learn how to take my 2 cold callers that I had and scale it up to 30 cold callers and make $1 million in a year. And that was amazing that I was able to do that and not blow the money. I didn't even really buy anything to reward myself. But I think for the viewers, something important to, you know, pinpoint is money, right? Like the value of it. So, for example, like $100,000 does really not go that far. So if you make $30,000 and you've never seen that type of money in your account, this money can be gone in no time. And even $100,000 is gone like this. So if you're gonna go buy something flashy, buy something like a car, I wouldn't buy one until you had $250,000 in the account, $500,000 in the account. And for me, I bought a BMW i8. It was like $68,000. I paid cash, but I had over $200,000 in the bank when I bought it. So I still had a year's worth of marketing in my account for my business when I went and bought this car.
Yeah.
So if you don't have a few $100,000, you shouldn't be buying anything expensive and flashy, in my opinion. And you got to really look at how quick money goes nowadays.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, what impulses do young people have that drives them to either splurge or?
Yeah.
I think comparison's a big thing. It's like you look at social media and like that's really what drove me. Like I got my first supercar when I was like 20, 21, but I had a few $100,000 in the bank and the businesses were thriving better than ever. So
yeah. I think young people have every impulse and every desire that you could possibly have because it's literally in front of their face on the screen every single day.
Every scroll, you see
so it's really tough. And like, even for me, of course I wanted a flashy car, I wanted this and that, but I made 30 grand or I made 100 grand and I wasn't going to go make that decision to buy something flashy right away. Because the worst thing that could happen, and you need to think about this, is, okay, everybody's doubting you, right? You're chasing after success and they're like, there's no way you're going to make it happen. They're like, real funny, you think you're going to become rich, right? You get all those haters, even your family, the closest people to you.
Especially your family,
They don't believe in you. And so now you're going to go actually prove that you're able to make a lot of money, and then you're going to go blow it right away. And then guess what? If that money doesn't keep coming in, now what are you again? Broke with a flashy car. How embarrassing is that? You got to think about how embarrassing that is. Yeah. And so that's another thing that held me back from doing it. And so keep that in mind. But I mean, I fell victim to the screen, the social media. I wanted a flashy car, right? It's hard to avoid.
Absolutely.
But you can have it. Like, there's nothing wrong with doing it. We've both bought nice cars, right? Yeah. There's nothing wrong with doing it, but you got to do it in the right way.
Yeah, no, absolutely. And I think what's important for young people is that you're going to have different cycles of your business and life, right? So, specifically in real estate, there was years where, or months or moments or quarters that deals were extremely easy to come by, right? You go on Zillow for sell by owner and I could wholesale it to a hedge fund for $50,000. And in 3 weeks, I have 50 grand, right? And it was like printing money out of thin air, right? And then there's moments on the downturn the last 2 years where it's extremely tough. Like, you had to really know your underwriting. You had to make legit offers. Well, we always made legit offers, but
to cut your expenses back.
Competitive offers is what I meant. And expenses, and there's a slowdown in business. So just because your first deal is easy or it's hard, or just understand there's going to be different cycles. So you have to really value each and every single deal and every dollar that comes with it.
And the most important thing is staying in business as a small business owner, right? What do they say? Like 90% or something of small businesses go out of business in the first 5 years. Yeah. So as a small business owner, you want to be focused on making sure that you stay in business. Okay, so it's cool that you're rich all of a sudden and you have a nice car, but then the next minute you go out of business, again, it's embarrassing. I would rather have the money in the bank than have the car to be able to, bankroll my business to stay alive, because that, like you said, there's ebbs and flows. And at one moment, you might be able to print money super easy in your business. The next minute, you're trying to survive. And then,
but and you've experienced both, right?
Yeah, experienced both.
Yeah, we both have. Yeah.
At a young age, and it's stressful, man. And you learn a lot. It's a blessing, though, at the end of the day, because you grow a lot as a person. But yeah. What you want to do, though, is you want to make sure you keep that foundation. I'd rather have the money to keep the foundation of my business than have the flashy car so I can survive to when it's easy to make the money again. It's all about getting through those dry patches, so then on the other side, you can have massive success once again.
Yeah, and even when you don't think you need the money in the account, it's better to have it than better to have it and not need it than need it and not have it. Yeah. So, like at one point, when I was 21, 22, I bought 2 supercars, I had an R8, a Bentley, and like 2 watches on each wrist. I'm like, and because I didn't need the cash in the account, everything's producing, but I definitely missed out on opportunities that I look back, I'm like, dang, if I had that extra $200,000-300,000 I spent, I could have invested in a few like pretty cool land development projects or new builds, or in 2021, I had tons of sub 2 opportunities that I missed out just because lack of capital, and I allocated for business. But, so just have the big picture, and if you're starting at a young age, you will be able to do whatever the hell you want, but you have to really be disciplined along the way.
Yeah, and not to like shit on anybody, but I know both of us, we look at people coming up and we see them buy these flashy cars, but we know they don't have money in the bank. So it's like, it means nothing. So you understand, people that are running real businesses, have been doing this for a long time, actually have a successful business, they can tell whether you just have one flashy car and like 10,000, 15,000 in the bank, or whether you have a flashy car and you actually have money in the bank in a real business. Like it's day and night.
It's not hard to get a super fancy car. All
Yeah.
you need is like 20, 30,000 and good credit. And that's not to promote you getting one. That's just to say, like, don't believe everything you see on the internet.
Yeah, and like I wouldn't want to have a flashy car and not have money in the bank. I would just feel bad about myself. Like I don't really deserve this.
The flashy car you want,
it.
the flashy car you want is a profitable business. So get that car.
Yeah, it can be too with marketing. Get your name out there with the flashy car, but
Exactly.
yeah.